Good evening and welcome to UNC Charlotte News on this Wednesday evening. I'm Yusuf Rahman. Have you ever been curious or had an interest in something? Have you ever taken that interest to the next level? Tonight, we look at the story of Danielle Miller. She has been exploring the world of meteorology for the past few years, and recently she has started a forecast show that she hopes will end up being on Today's Show. Here's Seth Flynn with her story.
My love for weather started early. My mom and I watched storms from my back deck, and I kept my eyes glued to the TV whenever the news and weather was on. Also, when I finally got my license, I would chase storms in the summer with my dogs and my sisters in the car with me.
Danielle was just a normal girl in high school with an interest. However, she took this interest and is starting to turn it into a career.
So I started to explore this interest of mine in 2014, and in June of that year, I shadowed Sheena Parveen at NBC News in Philadelphia, and it was the best day of my life. And she took me around the studio, she showed me how to work the green screen, she let me practice, and it was all around a really great experience. And then from there, a couple weeks later, I did a weather camp at Penn State University with students from across the country who wanted to learn more about weather. And from there, my interest kind of just grew, and this is how I created my show at high school, STEM Weather.
So you took everything you learned from weather camp and turned this into a show. How were you able to accomplish this?
So I worked really closely with the director of STEM TV, whose name was Nancy, and Nancy was amazing. Anything that I proposed to her, she was like, yeah, let's do it. So we figured out how I would be able to put a forecast behind me on the screen using all the green screens. And from there, we figured out logistics. Nancy was a big part in that because I'm typically on air and she's typically behind the scenes doing that stuff. So together, we were able to come up with this plan and do things and make it work.
Can you walk us through that first show that you did?
Yeah, so that morning I woke up extra early, spent a little extra time picking out my clothes. I woke my sisters up and we got to school. I walked into the studio and it was the morning and I was a little nervous, freaking out a little bit. But I plugged my laptop in, I talked to the directors, the anchors, and the camera crews for that day. We ran over everything, and then Nancy counted down from 5 and we were live. And even though I was nervous, I kind of just switched into this mode of this is my home, I love this studio, and I kind of just did what I knew how to do.
If this was home to you and you spent so much time in the studio, why were you nervous about this particular show and forecasting the weather?
This is a new segment, and I'd never done it before. People at school had never seen it done before. So I was nervous about how I would do and how it would be received from the rest of the school. And thankfully, everybody loved it. I got out of the broadcast, people were tweeting me, and it was just a really great experience.
So we actually have a clip of your first broadcast. Take a look.
Okay. And looking at the maps for today, it's pretty dry so far. The areas in yellow show where there's fog, and there was heavy fog this morning. But you can see there's no precipitation until you look to the northwest, and that will be affecting us throughout the week.
So how did it feel after this first broadcast? Were you disappointed with any part of it or critical of yourself?
Well, my voice is really high compared to what it is now, and I messed up a couple words. I said month instead of day or something like that. But overall, I was really happy with it. But yeah, ever since then, I continually watch broadcasts and I nitpick on every little thing.
Here's a clip of Danielle a few months later, more experienced at this point at forecasting and broadcasting the weather for the school.
Looking at the maps, it will be a pretty dry day today until tonight. There is some precipitation to our west that's going to move and affect us tonight. And with that, today will be partly cloudy until we get around 6 p.m. There's going to be the chance for some showers, a high of 60 degrees though. Tomorrow.
Some of my favorite parts of high school happened in front of that camera, or when I was messing around with the directors and producers, figuring out how we could make our show better.
Danielle considers her time with STEM Weather as a successful trial of her forecasting and broadcasting skills. The program was well received throughout the past school year and continues today. She also credits much of her early learning of meteorology and broadcasting to this experience and plans to further this education to continue to improve. Danielle is currently attending the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, studying meteorology and French. She hopes to get a job working for a news station and pursuing the passion she has since she was a young girl.
Thanks so much, Seth. Up next, our reporters are taking you live to California, where wildfires are striking and threatening more and more people. We'll be right back.